Hi, Kathy White, Certified Professional Ergonomist, Certified Safety Professional, and Certified Industrial Hygienist. I give this introduction because this video is a departure from my typical videos talking about ergonomics and tips and giving you a little more perspective of my background in hopes that I could potentially give you some enthusiasm, passion, and inspiration around the overall field of occupational health and safety. In this video, I'll just give you a little bit, again, background about how I came to be in this profession. I'll just start way back when with my parents, because the core of why I do what I do is my parents. They immigrated here from Poland. It was a year before I was born, and they came with my two brothers in hopes for the American dream, which they pursued. And I watched all my years growing up of how hard they worked to be able to provide for our family. We grew up around the Detroit area. I saw my parents grow within the automotive industry, and my mom worked on the assembly line at one of the automotive companies, and my dad was at another automotive company as an electrician. So I saw what they had to deal with in terms of working off hours, in terms of the physical activity required, and in terms of the safety risks that you have to mitigate in the workplace. I had that familiarity, and I had a lot of respect for what they did and how hard they worked. When it came to me and graduating high school, first step was figuring out where to go to college, and that's another story in and of itself. But ultimately, I got to the University of Michigan, and I now had to make some decisions about what to do with my life. I was always really interested in fitness and sports. I played tennis growing up. I played very competitively, and I almost played for college and decided not to and focus on my academics. Then I just tried to think of what could I do with that knowledge. I was looking at physical therapy or a related field. And then ultimately I wanted to go in the direction that my father went in, as well as my brothers, and all of them majored in an engineering field. I decided I wanted to do the same. I thought it would be a good degree. I thought I could do a lot with it, which is all true, by the way. Highly recommend. I wound up in the industrial and operations engineering program, finished bachelor's and master's, and along the way I was very fortunate at the time and did not realize how fortunate I was to work with some really major players in the ergonomics space with the University of Michigan Center for Ergonomics. I won't name drop everybody, but after I graduated, I realized how important these people are and the books that they author and how well recognized people in this field are from the university, which was really helpful for me, having been a research assistant and gone to some of these classes with these amazing people. When I graduated, I was also engaged to be married. My husband was looking for a job, and so was I, because we graduated together. And that was one of my criteria, was making sure that we could find work close to each other, which we were able to do. And I actually wound up in a position as a full-time ergonomist. I was really looking for just about anything I could do with my degree, but I'm so thankful I had that opportunity, because I wound up really falling in love with ergonomics, and all of the background that I had obtained from my studies was so applicable to the practical industrial environment. I loved how I could help people and make an impact. And the personal connection for me along the way there was my mom in particular, because when I was in college, she actually had to have carpal tunnel syndrome surgery, I should say. But she had carpal tunnel syndrome. She had surgery. I was with her through the recovery phase. I saw what she went through, and a lot of it was work related. My mom, again, she's just such a hard worker, and she kept taking the overtime and taking the extra time and giving her all. And I saw what happened as symptoms progressed, and she was up at night in discomfort, and what she had to go through was very invasive and extreme. And I saw that, and I just thought, I don't want anybody to go through what my mom's going through. It impacted her outside of work. And for a while with my little ones, she couldn't buckle them into the car seats and things like that, stuff that I think we would normally take for granted. So it was very personal for me what I was doing. Now, that all being said, I had my degree with an industrial engineering background. I did want to try that out and see what that was like. So I did take a job in industrial engineering for a period of time. And that's when I realized and made the connection that this wasn't my calling. This wasn't what I was meant to do. I wanted to help people, and I wanted to expand even beyond ergonomics into other aspects of occupational health and safety, which led me to another company where I've had the opportunity to work in industrial hygiene, as well as personal safety, and even some experiences with environmental compliance. Ultimately, I feel like I've found where I'm supposed to be, my purpose and my calling. And when I work on various projects and efforts, I'm constantly making this connection back to my family, because for me, this is very altruistic, but I believe I'm making a difference, and I believe what I'm working on can make a difference in people's lives, and not just their days at work. The fact that we want them to go home every day in the same condition or even better condition than the way they came in, but also quality of life outside. My goal is that everybody is healthy and that they're able to live their lives outside of work productively, happily, but also in their lifespan. Once they decide it's time to move on or retire, that they're able to do so and live a long, healthy, happy life beyond their working lifeline. That is another goal that I keep close to my heart. My mom is now retired. My dad continues to work. I'm constantly in conversations with him about the things that he does, and I am very mindful of that connection again between that personal piece that really fuels my continued passion over the years to do what I do in occupational health and safety. I hope that this background just gave you a little bit of an idea of where I'm coming from, and hopefully it helps fuel some of your passion and enthusiasm as well. Or maybe you're thinking about getting into this field. Certainly, of course, I highly recommend. There's so many different ways that you can be involved in this field and really make that difference. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.